What's up, fam? Welcome back to the rLounge. While some women have a great relationship with their mother-in-laws, others have the complete opposite. Some just have completely batshit crazy mother-in-law run-ins that they can't believe actually happened. Get ready to pick your jaws up off the floor. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Someone told his first mother-in-law to stop running with scissors. Future mother-in-law cuts up homemade wedding dress. This story is from my aunt. My aunt is a dressmaker, so for her wedding, she decided to sew her own dress, so it would have been extra special. But her mother-in-law wanted to wear the dress mother-in-law wore for her wedding. Now don't get me wrong, the dress was beautiful, but it wasn't my aunt's style. So she politely told her she wanted to wear the dress she was making. Mother-in-law seemed upset, but she paid no mind. A few months later, my aunt finished her dress. She told father-in-law and mother-in-law the news. Then mother-in-law asked if my aunt could bring the dress so she could see it. She said she would. When she arrives at her mother-in-law's, she noticed her father-in-law wasn't home. When she was brought inside, mother-in-law asked to hold the dress, and before my aunt could respond, mother-in-law grabbed it from her and went to a different room and locked the door. When she walked out, the dress was totally ruined. The skirt was cut up and the bodice was ripped. Mother-in-law then said,
"Since your wedding is next week, and this thing is ruined, you can wear my wedding dress instead."
My aunt couldn't believe what happened and just took the ruined dress and drove home crying. She called my uncle, her fiancé, and told him what happened. He was furious at his mother. He told my aunt to wait at their house while he dealt with it. Sometime later, he comes back with over $1,000. He told her that he got his mother to pay them for ruining the dress and to get a new dress. My aunt was still upset, but her wedding went smoothly and she had a good time. Wow, that sounds like an absolute nightmare. It takes some kind of evil to do that to another person. That was very selfish of your aunt's mother-in-law, OP. I can't imagine how hard that would have been on your aunt. She must have made that dress exactly how she wanted it, and no other dress would have lived up to it. So much love and excitement went into her handmade dress. I imagine it would be hard to have a relationship with your mother-in-law after she did that as well. What an absolute breach of trust. If her mother-in-law was wanting to burn a bridge, that was a great way to do it. What would you have done? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, while we check out some comments from the community. Few Maintenance 2560 says, "Dang, that's crazy. I'm glad he handled it and made his mom pay for it. Lots of sons have trouble accepting money from their moms, but she definitely needed to pay. I hope they cut contact after that because who knows what she's capable of." Mad Nick 777 chimes in, "Oh my gosh, how terrible. I'm sorry, but I'm super petty, so I would have kept my composure and agreed to wear her dress and left, taken both dresses home and got toddler creative and chopped them all up into pieces and came back to her house to spread the remains all over her lawn, then tell my husband about it. Uninvited her to my wedding, and then last minute found a new dress. If I can't have my dream dress, neither would she, because it must mean a lot for her to get out of character, and that will prevent her from trying to force that on my future kid." Next, Home Sweet Home, without the in-laws. My new home is a mess. Hi all. We bought our first home a month ago, and things have gone downhill since, and the in-laws have played their part in it. The house is a very dated 1950s style house. We knew we would need to renovate, and we agreed we would live in the house as it is and renovate room by room, so we wouldn't put ourselves under pressure, both financial and just the stress of renovation life. The in-laws came over to look at the house. I knew something had gone wrong within 15 minutes of them being at the house. They didn't say one positive thing about it, and father-in-law seemed irritable with my partner. Mother-in-law didn't say anything either, so I knew they didn't like the house. I could see by the body language. My guess is that they were jealous that their son has bought a house, yet they are still renting. Now what happened next is what caused this mess. They offered to come help strip the living room wallpaper. After their negative reaction, I didn't want them around. Also, I didn't think it would take 4 of us to strip one room wallpaper, as we had invested in a steamer. So I decided my partner and the in-laws could do it. To my horror, when I returned home, I found that not only did they strip the living room, they stripped the dining room, hallway, first floor landing, toilet room, and the master bedroom, leaving the walls not just bare. I could handle bare walls if I was able to paint them. It left behind severely damaged walls, all of which would require plastering. I was so upset that I cried. I cried for a good hour. What was a home that I could walk into and relax was now a building site. The in-laws suggested it couldn't be that much work to paint the house. I feel so angry towards my partner. How could he let them? He has since apologized, but honestly I resent him. For the first time in our relationship, I felt hatred towards him. I hate him for what he has done. My home is a building site with crumbling multicolored walls. I come home from work and I can't relax anywhere but the second bedroom, which was left unscathed in his parents' stripping wallpaper marathon. My partner has apologized, and going forward his parents are no longer coming to our house, but that's not the point. How could he allow his parents to do that? Why didn't he ask me for my opinion? I'm sorry to post this here. I've never felt this hate and resentment towards him. Honestly, I have thought our relationship is a mistake. I want a man, not a boy who couldn't say no to his parents. I'm so disappointed in him. As for my in-laws, they won't be stepping into my house for the next 6 months. I don't know what possessed them into thinking they could start doing the entire house when we had told them that we would take it easy and we accept the 1950s style. Sorry for ranting. Please advise. I feel so sad that I sit crying, regretting my relationship, all over a bit of wallpaper stripping. I know, but it's my home, my safe space, my haven, and it looks a mess. I have a really stressful job, and I work so hard to the point we've had to delay having children until I change jobs because that's how difficult my job is. My home is my peace, and that's been taken from me. It's unfair. Oh my. You have a right to be upset, OP. They betrayed you and had no right to do that. Your husband probably felt like he was doing the right thing and helping you out with the house and also giving your parents what they wanted. I'm sure at the time, he truly believed they just wanted to help, but since they are your partner's parents, he obeyed without seeing their true intentions. It's going to take time to get over this. Renovations are hard as it is, never mind trying to deal with in-laws who severely overstep their boundaries. It seems their intentions were purely selfish, and now you have every right to be selfish with your time and your boundaries. You do not owe them anything. Take your time processing what happened, but also look to your husband for support. In his mind, he felt he was doing the right thing and trying to please both parties. Be patient with him. Be cautious with your in-laws. What do you think? How would you have handled this situation? Our first comment comes from Restless Dragon. Sweetie, I'm so sorry. I know that has to be a nightmare. However, you've learned one important thing here. Your in-laws will steamroll your husband any chance they get. Now is the time to start therapy to be able to work on setting clear and enforceable boundaries with your in-laws. Now, before you continue the remodel, before you consider having children, you need to know that he is going to be able to stand tall and defend you and any future children you have in the face of his parents. Expect your in-laws to play the victim here, stating repeatedly that your husband agreed with their suggestion. Honestly, they would be correct in that statement, but wrong for pushing your husband to go against what the two of you had agreed upon. Tell your husband to start calling around to find someone who can repair the walls. Get at least one room fixed and painted so you have a safe space you can feel comfortable, but make sure he knows you get to choose the room. Our last mother-in-law sharpens her horns at night. Mother-in-law from the depths of hell. TW miscarriage. I, 32 female, have gone no contact with my significant others, 33 male, mother and brother. Mother-in-law has been the absolute worst. Me and my significant other met in 2015, became friends, and we both started dating other people. We didn't start dating each other until 2017. 2018, we moved in together, got engaged, bought a house together. Everything with mother-in-law and brother-in-law was great until we bought the house. Mother-in-law started making comments to my significant other friends that how could he buy his girlfriend a house before buying her one, as she was living in government housing. We live in California where housing is by no means affordable, and on his own, he didn't qualify to purchase a home. We bought the house together. My significant other confronted her about the rumors she said they were lies and that my significant other's best friend had made those comments. My significant other and his best friend stopped talking. 2019, as the wedding gets closer, mother-in-law starts making small offhanded comments about me, such as not loving her son enough, not giving her enough attention, not texting her every day, etc. I explained it's not the case. I love her son, that's why we are getting married. I have 2 jobs and cannot drop everything to give her the attention she wants. Significant other explains the same to her. The situation keeps getting worse with her small jabs of comments, snarky remarks, etc. I stay quiet and let significant other handle her as it's his mom. Day of the wedding comes, tension is high, and at this point, I'm tired of her, as she is draining to try to please. Well, after we get married, before she leaves, she goes to congratulate us, tells my significant other,
When this marriage fails, just know I will always be there for you.
She tells me,
You're lucky to get my son.
I just stared at her and my significant other is just so confused and tells her, am I supposed to say thank you to that? She leaves and that's the end of it. We enjoyed the rest of the night. Oh, by the way, at this point my husband and his best friend make up as I convince my significant other that there's no way his friend would say those comments. Luckily, he attended our wedding. After the wedding, about 6 weeks later, we discover I'm pregnant. It's our first pregnancy, so no clue what to do. We are excited. I set up a doctor's appointment. We visit his family, and when we arrive, we find out they called us over so my significant other can help brother-in-law take out a car loan, as brother-in-law's credit is not good. He is young, about 19 at the time. My significant other says yes, but if brother-in-law has asked brother-in-law's father first, since we recently bought a house and it's not the best time. Brother-in-law said yes, but his father couldn't help. My significant other at the moment believed brother-in-law wanted a starter car, so we were willing to help him get something a couple thousand, $6,000 max, as long as he made payments, and if he couldn't, we could still cover a small payment. Brother-in-law informed him he wanted a luxury sports car, his dream car, brand new model. My significant other informed him that's out of the question. He asked me to look for what a monthly payment would be, and I mentioned the car payments would be out of his range and his part-time minimum wage job. Brother-in-law yells at me to butt out that I'm a gold digger after his brother's money. I and significant other make the same amount, which is not a lot. I get agitated. He gets up to my face, yelling, saying significant other pays for everything and that he should have bought their mother a house first. Mother-in-law says significant other has a responsibility to help brother-in-law with the car and that it's true he should have bought her a house first. We gather our things and leave. I get very sick after the huge argument. I start spotting that night and I tell my significant other I think something is wrong, but to go to sleep. The next day the spotting continues and gets worse. We go to the hospital and they inform me I'm having a miscarriage. We deal with it. My significant other is furious as he feels it's their fault for the miscarriage. I do too, but I keep it to myself. I tell my significant other not to mention anything as I don't want to tell them about something so personal. I let him know I will not talk to brother-in-law anymore and reduce contact with his mother. I tell him it's his family, so he should do what he feels is best for him. He decides to keep contact. The reduced contact helped me with his mother as I was feeling less stressed, but that only aggravated her and she started commenting on my social media crazy things, so I blocked her and told my significant other she crossed a line attacking me on social media and I would be going no contact with his mother as well. One thing is privately attacking me, but I'm a very private person and social media was too much. He agrees. I haven't spoken to mother-in-law and brother-in-law since 2019. My husband wants us to make up since we are getting ready to start trying for a baby again, but I recently saw a message that just infuriated me to no end. Recently, my significant other talked to his mother and brother as to why I stopped talking to them, since they kept acting like they did no wrong and I was just a crazy person who blocked them. He informed them of everything. Obviously, I gave my permission. His mother acted like she never said anything, and if he had proof, he showed her texts and etc. She excused herself for every message, said I took it out of context and whatever she could do to basically put the blame on me. Mother-in-law asked if he was sure I was pregnant and that it was not her fault I had the miscarriage, and that it was my fault for getting emotional at them and telling me a few things. She didn't say, I'm sorry for that or anything. The brother said if I asked for forgiveness, we could talk again. I basically told my husband no way and his family could just F off. Significant other didn't agree with them either, but told me their responses either way and he was disappointed, but it's his family. So the text from mother-in-law said, well, here's the gist of it. Your wife is a snake. She is poisoning you against us. Her miscarriage was just an abortion she had because she doesn't want to give you children. She is still in love with her ex. She is using you to get past her trauma. Her womb doesn't work and it's rotten. She will never be able to give you children. She is evil and a vile woman. Leave her. My significant other never responded to her or defended me. He just ignored it as if she never messaged that. I only saw the text because he asked me to get his phone and look up something and he had just texted her. I pretended to not see it and did what I grabbed the phone for. Now I'm not sure how to handle this new information. I also don't want his mother to know if we get pregnant because I feel like she will somehow try to do something to me. My husband is adamant that he has to tell her and she has to be around our children. I'm not pregnant yet and it's getting close to the dates we said we would start trying. I'm just so worried and have no idea how to handle this. I understand it's my husband's mother and it's his only parent as his father walked out on them when he was 5 and then passed away without ever talking to him again. So I'm in a tough spot because he sees my parents with their grandchildren from my siblings and how close we are. I think that's what he wants with his mother, to be with our future children. Please, any advice would be greatly appreciated. Also, if anything needs clarification, I will clarify. P.S. I wrote this on my phone, sorry for spelling errors, and most likely my punctuation is horrible. OP, I am so sorry for your loss. And surely you must know all of those things that your mother-in-law and brother-in-law have said were just coming from a place of envy. That being said, I think having a serious conversation with your partner about both of your expectations moving forward is a must. It could likely be that he had no idea what to say to his mother. Sometimes people need to step back and really think before making a move. Communication between the both of you right now is important, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to seek out resources like a family therapist for you and your partner to find ways to be open with each other, to lay everything out on the table in a safe environment. Your partner is in a weird place. He wants to be loyal to his family because they are his family, while at the same time, he loves you and wants to support you. A therapist will help you both navigate this tricky situation. Our community reacts with this. First from Coral Coast 21. Do not get pregnant with this man until you have safe boundaries. Next thought from Countryside Love. Don't get pregnant. These issues need to be resolved first, with your significant other, of course, because mother-in-law and brother-in-law will not change. This would be a toxic environment for a potential child. Disrespecting the mother and a father that doesn't stand up for her. This is what the child will be taught and adapt. Please do not get pregnant. Thank you for joining us today on rLounge. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. If you have feedback on today's content, please let us know in the comments below. Until next time.